Hi everyone, so this is our Monday lesson and I'm recording this on the Friday, so still smell of smoke and Miss Mason's still in the background. So you hear any noise or coughing, that's why. So we're going to start this lesson today with our warm-up, and if you can do this at home, pause the video, take a moment and see if you can solve these questions. If you're ready, I'm going to carry on now, so pause it if you still need to, but I'm going to show you the answers now then. Let's make this a bit bigger and let's have a look through it today. So this first one a bit confusing, but there are lots of possible answers. 562 divided by 8. You could have said that the answer was going to be 70 and 1/4, or 70 and 2/8, or 72.5. But I think most of you would have written 70 remainder 2. B is 569 times 8. We've been practicing this the last week, so hopefully you said 4,552. And 654 divided by 100. Remembering when we're dividing by 100, we're moving it right 2 places, but keeping the same digits. Hopefully you haven't just written 6 there, 6.54. Then 87 minus 29. You might have done 87 minus 30 and then added 1 on at the end. The answer there was 58. And then 98 plus 165. Again, it's got this M here for mental method. I wonder if you did 168 add 100 and then took 2 away. So you got 263 there. Okay, let's move on. And let's see our first problem of the day, which is our flashback for another way to get you thinking about what we've learned before. So give yourself 4 minutes, have a look at the clock now, pause the video again, and have a go at solving it. Okay, if you're ready, we won't go for the answers right now. We will look at them at the beginning of next lesson so that you can check back and reflect before you do your next flashback 4. If you want to pause the video, I'm moving on. So we are looking today at 2-digit times 2-digit numbers, which has a lot of working out into it, but we've got this really good method called the grid method. And let's look at a real world problem you might use this in today. A coach company has 68 coaches. Each coach can hold 43 passengers. What is the maximum number of passengers the coach company can take? Before you pause the video, let's have a look at the question and think about what we would need to take out of it to solve the problem. So usually we look at the numbers, don't we? A coach company has 68 coaches, okay? Okay, each coach can hold 43 passengers. What is the maximum number of passengers the company can take? Well, it's going to be 68 groups of 43, isn't it? So in my bar model, in my grid method, sorry, even, I would write 60 and 8, making sure I've partitioned it into its 10s and 1s, and then 40 and 3. What I'd like to do now then, please, pause the video, have a go at solving that. You could write that in your book if you're at home. In the classroom, we're going to write it on a slip of paper we've copied this onto. But have a go, can you solve 68 times 43 using the grid method? Okay, I'm going to be moving on. If you still need time, pause the video again and we'll stop there. Let's go through some answers for this page then. Let's see how you're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is 40 times 60. I don't know my 40 times table, so I'm going to do my 4s and my 6s, and I'm going to times it by 100 at the end. So the answer is 24, or 2,400. Then I'm going to do 40 and 8. 40 times 8. Again, I can't do my 40 times table in my head. I'm going to do my 4 times table and times it by 10. So 4 times 8 is 32. So the answer to 40 times 8 must be 320. Then I'm going to do 3 times 60. I'm going to do 3 times 6 and times by 10. I hope you're seeing the pattern here. I'm going to say the answer is 180. And then 3 times 8, we know that one. We were practicing that a lot in class, haven't we? The answer is 24. All I have to do then is add up those 4 black numbers I've written down to find my answer. If you're in your book at home, write them down using the column method. I'm going to write it just on my screen here. See if you can beat me before I reach the end of my explanation. So 2,400, starting with the big number. Then I'm going to do 320 underneath, 180 underneath that, and making sure it's still aligned, 24. Let's see, can you spot the answer before I can? If you want to cheat, you can always pause the video and see if you can do it without me. 0, 0, 0, add 4 is 4. 2 and 8 is 10, add the 2 is 12, so I'm going to carry that 1 over. Then I'm going to do 4, add 3 is 7, Add the 1 is 8. Add that other one is 9 and 2. So the answer there is 2,924. So the maximum number of passengers the coach company could take is 2,924 passengers. That's quite a lot, isn't it? 4 times our school there. Okay, let's move on for a moment then. We've got a missing number problem here. Someone's tried to do the grid method, but the numbers have shaken off. So you can see we've got the numbers 5, 40, and 200. Where should they go in that grid method? Before I say anything, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at solving it. You might want to, at home, write this down and then put in those missing numbers. You might even write them on scraps of paper and arrange them in different ways. Have a go, pause the video, and when you're ready, we'll carry on. Right, if you've unpaused the video, let's see how I would have solved this then and see if it matches your methods. We'll move our pause button to the side. Well, I'm looking for something times 2 equals 10 because I can see we've got 2, we've got 10, and then we've got nothing at the top. So straight away, I think the number should be 5 because 2 times, let's put that to the front, shall we? Because 5 equals 10. So I've got rid of a number there. Now then, I'm thinking, now I've got my top numbers. It's a standard grid method, isn't it? What's 2 times 20? Is it 200 or is it 40? I think it's 40. Let's just make sure that appears when I want it to. And then let's see, what's 40 times 5? Well, 4 times 5 is 20, so 45 times must be 200. How did you at home? Did you get that right as well? Did your grid method look like mine? And did you find what the answer is of 25 times 42? Have a go, see if you can solve that now using our questions there. Pause the video again if you want to, but let's see if we can solve it together. So our first number there was 800. Then we had 200. Using my tens column is the 40 and the tens. This is a nice easy one, looking at all those zeros. So the first one is 0. Our second digit is going to be a 5. Our third digit, I know it's going to have some carrying and exchanging, so it'd be a 0, and then carrying the 1 over there. So we've got the answer of 1,050. Well done if you did the same. Let's move on together then. So the big new learning in this lesson is being able to use the short method for solving 2-digit times 2-digit questions. It's very much like doing the 1-digit method. So we'll have a go and see if we can notice what is the same and what is different about these methods. I'm just going to make sure my laptop's charging there. The problems of doing live lessons. There we go. So what I'd like to do is pause the video, have a go. Can you find three things you notice about this method? You might notice the carrying. You might notice there are two numbers now we've got to add up instead of 1. Have a go. See if you can spot 3 things that are different or new to you that you'd like to talk about. Fantastic. So my 3 things I've noticed is that there is carrying over in that red. I've also noticed there is now some addition to do. That wasn't there on the 1-digit one, was it? And I've also noticed it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to solve this. So I need lots of space in my book now, don't I? 5 lines of squares, or 5 rows. So let's move on. Let's see how this works. You can see on the left-hand side of the page here, we have 25 times 42, that problem we solved before. We're going to use that again, and we're going to solve it using the column method. What I'd like you to do is have a go before we do it together. In your book at home, can you think of a way to solve 25 times 42 using this method? Have a go, pause the video, and we'll carry on and solve it together next. Okay, if you've unpaused the video, let's have a go and see if we can solve it. I'm just going to move this pause button out of the way, and then we'll have a go at this question. So when we do this, we have to do it in each part. So we're going to do 25 times 2, and then we're going to do 25 times 40. Times 40 even. Just like we might have done the expanded method for times by 1 digit. And I'm going to do this in a slightly different colour so it's nice and clear for you. Let's do 25 times 2 already. Now you might know that in your head, but let me do it the slightly longer way to make sure we know it all together. 5 times 2 is 10, so I'm going to do a little 1 there because I'm carrying that 10 over into the tens column. And then 2 times 2, or 20 times 2 is 40. Add the 10 there, makes it 50. 25 times 2 is 50. I'm sure most of you knew that. Next one we have to do is 25 times 40. This is a slightly bigger problem, isn't it? But we can still do it. So let's do 5 times 40 first. 5 times 40, well, 5 times 4 is 20. So this is going to be 200. So I've got my 0, and I'm going to show my 2 there to carry it over, because I might be writing that in a moment. Next, I have to do 20 times 40. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 times 4, and then times it by 100. So 2 times 4 is 8, times by 100 is 800. That means then that here is going to be the 8, but I've got to add this 2 on. So it's going to be a 0 and a 1. At the end then, I'm going to change my pen colour to make it really clear for you. I must add up those 2 numbers to find my final solution. So 0 add 0 is 0. 5 add 0 is 5 even. Let me rub that out. Always good to do some editing, isn't it? 5. And then we've got nothing there. And 1,000. So we must have 1,050. Did that match what you've done in your book? If not, have a look back, rewind this section of it, see if you can see the explanation again, and maybe you can follow along and write it again beside it. Let's move on though, if you're ready. So in class, we'd have someone up doing the grid method or someone up doing the column method, and we would have me doing the opposite one. So what I'd like to do is choose which one do you prefer. If you're going to challenge yourself today, go for this short method on the columns, or if you are feeling a bit more happy trying the grid method, do the grid method. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do the column method today. You can maybe do it along in your book at the same time, or pause it and try and show it in both. Okay. Our question then is 53 times 43. If you want to solve that on your own, pause the video now and have a go. If you'd rather we did it together, let's do it together. To show this in my column method, I have to write 53. The times symbol goes on the left-hand side of my digits, and 43 goes underneath. I then draw a short line that's nice and neat there. Now I remember I have to do, and I'm going to write this down just so it's clear for everyone, 53 times 3, and I have to do 53 times 40. Now you don't have to do these brackets parts. These are just to make it clear for you to do. I'm going to change my pen color as well to make it clear, but of course you can do it in the same pencil. So let's start with 53 times 3. Well, I remember from my last one that 50 times 3 was 150, so it's going to be near there, isn't it? But let's work it out the long way. 3 times 3 is 9. 50 times 3 is 150, so it's going to be 159 to start with. Next, I've got to do 53 times 40. So let's do 3 times 40, which is 4, 8, 12, so it's going to be 120. I'm going to show my 100 there as a small one because I might be writing that next. And then I have to do 50 times 40. Well, 5 times 4 is 20, so this is going to be 2,000. So I have to say 2,000 and add that one, 2,120. I'm going to underline it. I'm going to add them together. I'm going to show you the solution in a different pen color, and we're going to see how we do. So 9 add 0 is 9, 5 add 2 is 7, 1 add 1 is 2, and 2 on its own. That means our answer is 2,279. Okay. Did that match what you've done in your book? Did you do the grid method and get the same answer? If you did, fantastic. Well done. Maybe you want to go back and try and do the column method this time to practice both ways. Let's move on. So what I'd like to do now, please, is I'd like you to pause the video and use whichever method you would like to best. But if you can use the column method, have a go. Okay, write these in your book. Pause the video, please, and have a go. Let's just get this pause button so we know exactly what we're doing. Ooh, doesn't like copying that. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. Nope. Oh, there it is. So, pause the video, try and solve these problems, and we'll see how you did. Right. So now you've unpaused it. Let's have a quick look at A. So 8 times 4, so 38 times 4 we have to do first, don't we? Or 8 times 4 is 8, 16, 32, isn't it? So 2, carry the 3 over. 8 times 10 is 80. So 80 add 30 is 110, isn't it? Yes. So next we're doing 38 times 10, which we know is 380. No big method needed there. And then we add them together. 2, 9, 4. So hopefully you got the answer there of 492. Let's move on to 29 times 29, a lovely square number. Let's do 9 times 9, which is 18. Carry the 1 over. 20 times 9, or 2 times 9 is 18. Times by 10 is 180. Making sure to add that 10 in, so it's 198. And then again, it's 29 times 20. So let's do 9 times 20. So 9 times 2 is 18. Times by 100 is 180. And then 20 times 20, or 2 times 2 is 4. So 20 times 20 is going to be 400. Add the 100 there, 500. We have 8. 9 plus 8, let's just work that out. Well, 9 plus 9 is 18, so it's going to be 17, isn't it? Carry the 1 over. 5, add 1 is 6, add the 1 is 7. 778. Did your answers match mine? If they didn't, go back, have another go. Try a different method. Try the grid method if it's easier for you. Okay, that's the end of me talking for the moment. What I'd like to do now, please, is find the sheet that you are working on today. Here is what I'd like yellow group to be working on, please. Starting with a 4-digit problem. Can you use what you know to multiply 26 by 1,234? Look at the grid method there. Hopefully you'll be able to work it out. Then we have 5 selection of 3, 4 and 2-digit numbers using all that you've learnt. And at the bottom here, a little challenge for you. Using all of the digit cards, what is the smallest product you can make? So you've got 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 even. What is the smallest product you can make from those? Try it more than once. Have a go, make another one. Can you beat it? Show your parents, can they beat you? And then if you're wanting a bit more support today and a bit more practice before you do the yellow group, try the reds, please. So we've got going back to the grid method, practicing that with some space to work out. And then we've got some 2-digit times 1-digit questions to practice. Then we're moving on to today's challenge, which is 2-digit times 2-digit problems. And at the bottom, you've got a challenge as well. How many 2 by 2-digit equations can you create that would equal 540? If you can't equal 540, how close can you get? What is the closest number you can make to that? Okay, we do have a little bit more of this video, but pause it, please. Go and find these sheets and then come back to it, okay? Okay, if you've done really well there, let's have a look at a little reasoning problem with all that we've learned from this lesson. So Sam is trying to solve 83 times 21. Oh, I've just dropped my phone. 83 times 21. To estimate an answer, she does 80 times 20, and her estimate is 1,600. How close is her estimate to the actual answer? Is there another way to make an estimate that would be more accurate for Sam? So have a look, take a think for a moment, pause the video again, and see if you can come up with an answer for this problem. Is there a better way for doing it? Okay, here's what I might have done. If you're struggling, please pause the video, because I'm going to talk about my idea now. But if you would like to listen in and have a go at this, then carry on. So 80 times 20 is a really good go at this. She's rounded, hasn't she? She's gone straight to the nearest zeros, and that's just what we were teaching with addition. But with multiplication, we know there are a few more rules. And when I look at this question, I think I can find one that might get us a bit closer. Now, I'm going to keep 83 as it is, because it's not near a number I'm happy with. But 21, well, I know that 20 is the same as 10 times 2. And 21 is near 20, so maybe I can use 83 and my knowledge of the 10 times tables to make this easier. So what if I did 83 times 10, which we know is 830. I'm just going to have to go off the page there, aren't I? If I do that, to find 20 times 83, I have to do then 830 times 2, which is some good doubling. So 800 times 2 is 1,600. 30 times 2 is 60. So I've got the answer 1,000. I'm just going to shorten this bit over here so I've got some space to write. 1,660. Now that is a little bit more accurate than Sam has been saying already. We've actually gone up a little bit higher. Now, I wonder if we can make this even a little bit more accurate, because it's 21 times 83. So if I can do 10 times 2, 10 times 2, 83 times 10 times 2, then I wonder if I can do adding after the end of this. So 1,660, add 830. This is what I'm more used to, isn't it? 0, 9, 6 add 8 is 14. So I have 2,490. So actually, with using very simple methods, I can find another way of solving this problem. It doesn't involve huge, long multiplications and grid methods. Okay, that's the end of this lesson today. I will see you tomorrow. I hope you did all right at the work today. If you haven't done it yet, go back, find the sheet and complete it in your book. Okay, good luck everyone. And then we will see you tomorrow for our next maths lesson.